Hey kids, it's Mr. Flyer here, hope you're well, and welcome back to the channel for another bike review. Today I'm on the brand new for it's definitely 2024, the KTM 390 Duke, a bike I last rode some 6 years ago, and I absolutely loved it then, so it'll be interesting to see if I still love it, because they've made some major changes to the bike. Pretty much everything has been breathed on, and this is my first ride review. Well, actually I lied, technically it's my second ride review, because I've been so looking forward to riding this. This is one of my favourite KTMs that I couldn't help but go for a quick spin on it yesterday when the bike turned up. Anyway, if you're interested in the new KTM 390 Duke, stick around and stay tuned. I'll tell you what I think of her. Okay, welcome to Great Missenden, folks, where we find a white van doing pirouettes in the middle of the town. Anyway, while he's sorting out what on earth he's doing, why don't I show you over this bike. Of course, cuteness is in the eye of the beholder, but for me, this does look like a cute little bike. I'm often critical of what KTMs look like, but I think this is one of the best looking KTMs you can get. This and its big brother, the Super Duke. I just think it's a nice looking thing. It looked good before, and it looks good now. I mentioned it's been, it's had a lot of changes, so the styling is one of the big things that's changed. So it does look, in fact, if you put it side by side with the older bike, quite different. Some of the noticeable things for me are things like the suspension. You've got that rear spring is now mounted on the side. The seat looks quite a bit different to me, and we'll talk a lot about the seat in this review, because I have to say it's not particularly comfortable. It's got a new swing arm at the back there as well. The exhaust looks different, not too sure about that. All modern bikes are a bit odd these days, aren't they, exhaust wise. What I'm glad to say, at the front they've kept the more traditional KTM headlight arrangement, unlike the ones on some of the bigger bikes where you've just got the outline of the light. They've actually got the sort of waspish lens covers on there, which I like. I think it looks a bit more finished, and I think it's a really nice looking machine. I like it particularly in this grey and blue colour scheme. You can get it in a entirely KTM orange as well, but I think this one just works. What else can we show you? Close up with the seat, maybe. It's got some interesting textures on there, which I quite like, and I do like the way they've mixed and matched the colours up here. Big old hanger out the back that needs a tail tidy, but many bikes do, don't they? Coming round here, if we have a quick look at the switchgear, this control panel is new for KTM, or certainly I haven't seen it before. Works really well. It's easy to get your fingers on when you've got the gloves on. Nice and positive, and a quality feel. The TFT is lovely. If I just bring that on, you'll see more of that as we ride, of course. But there we go, nice clear TFT, really easy to use as well. While I've got the bike on, let me show you that light with the sort of running light bits on. Actually doesn't show up that well on the camera, but yeah, looks quite cool from the front, I think. Anyway, there we go. That's what she looks like. For me, it's a thumbs up, but of course, as I say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I think that is a right cute looking machine. Okay, welcome back. The white van has sorted itself out. Look, he's going down there, causing havoc. So we've established this is a good looking little bike. Of course, highly subjective. Just to my mind, it's a good looking bike. How does it ride? Well, let's get out of this unusually traffic built up Great Missenden and find out. So first up, what about comfort on the bike? That's always, of course, the first thing you notice, isn't it, when you jump on a bike? How does the thing feel? Well, I don't want to be rude, but I would probably say comfort isn't necessarily the little KTM's forte. Now, I'm not a particularly big bloke at 5'8" and about 75 kilograms. I'm a medium-sized fella, but the bike feels fairly cramped to me, actually. Your legs are in quite a tucked up position, which isn't uncomfortable, it's just they're tucked up, and if you were a longer, taller bloke than me, you might find it becomes cramped. So there's that, and then the seat itself feels pretty hard to me. Again, great for the sort of things that I would do on this bike, which is blast around lanes like the ones we're going to ride today for up to an hour or so. But I think if you're on a longer journey, that seat might become tiresome quite soon. And then the other thing, you feel a little bit canted forward. There's a little bit of weight on your wrists and shoulders. Nothing terrible. I mean, it's not like you're on a sports bike, but you are sat very much over the front of the bike, which probably helps with its handling. But it means it feels like you're sort of almost sat over the TFT, which seems very close. It might just be that it's a very compact bike. Anyway, so comfort-wise, first impressions not great. But hey ho, fun bikes aren't meant to be comfortable, are they? Talking of the TFT, let's just have a little look at that and what we're looking at here in terms of controls and so on, vastly changed on this bike over the previous model I rode. This TFD is actually lovely, nice and clear, and it's very clever how they've done some of the presentations on this. It's all kind of colour coded. If I don't know, if I hit that button there we go, and it showed by hitting the little arrow in a square there on the right of this little keypad thing, it takes you all the various settings and so on. It's quite intuitive as to how it works. But what I like is this colour coding. You see here, look, the tank is green and the radiator is green. That basically means we've got full fuel. That will go amber and then red as the tank empties, and that we're up to operating temperature, and that's all in the green. So absolutely love that. There's all sorts of clever features and functions in there. Would be a subject of a whole video on itself. But yeah, nice screen and nice and intuitive to use with this new sort of button pad over here on the left. All the controls have a nice tactile feel to them, and it all feels like quality as well. This bike comes in at under 6 grand. I think it's 5,699, but it doesn't feel like a cheap bike at all. Mirrors on it are nice and sturdy. I've complained about KTM mirrors in the past, but these are absolutely fine in terms of their looks. They look sturdy. Is a little bit of vibration through them, to be honest, although the view out the back is pretty good. Talking about vibration, it's a single cylinder motorcycle, so that's one of the things that I would be concerned about. But actually you don't need to worry about vibration on this bike. It's pretty smooth for a single. Here I am doing 40 behind this Tesla in 5th gear, and I wouldn't know that I was on a single cylinder bike, to be honest. So no worries there. While I'm stuck behind this Tesla, let me just try the brake set. Nothing behind me. Front brake actually is very good. It's only got a single disc on the front, but it's much better than you would think a single disc would be. But it is a very light bike. It's something like 168 kilograms. We'll go through the specs in the usual way in a minute. But yes, it's a light bike. Doesn't take much stopping. Let's just try the rear. The rear's pretty good actually. I hammered the rear hard there, and there was no the ABS didn't kick in. This particular machine has the optional quick shifter fitted. KTM do that thing where everything's fitted on the bike when you buy it, but you have to pay extra to unlock certain features. The quick shifter is one of those. I must admit I don't like that sort of subscription model, and I haven't met anybody who does, but that's just how it is, I'm afraid. So I know you can unlock the quick shifter, and then the other thing that you can pay extra for is for the race mode on this. It comes as standard with 2 riding modes, but if you want the race mode, which not only gives you different riding characteristics for the track, but it also gives you the race screen as well. And again, that's an upgrade you have to pay extra for. The bike also has, would you believe, launch control, which I think is hilarious for a 390 or 399cc motorcycle to have launch control. I suppose it's something to show off to your mates with. It's not active on this bike yet because this bike isn't run in yet. It's only done something like 250 miles, and that doesn't become available to you until you've done the 600 mile service, I think. Alright, let's have a little look at the handling down here on my favourite bumpy handling road. And it's still bumpy as you like. Here we go. First is quite short, you run, and second is quite short, and third is quite short. But 4th gear, a little bit longer. So yeah, you do have to change gear quite a bit. But once you wind her up, she goes well. It's a perky little engine, this. And again, as a back lane blaster, it's all you need. I mean, here I am, I'm doing, look, 55 miles an hour, so this is a 60 mile an hour limit road. It feels like I'm absolutely herring along. The suspension's doing a pretty good job, actually. I thought it might get out of shape on this road, but it hasn't. Right, let's just come down on that quick shifter, see how she goes. Quick shifter seems really good, actually. I would definitely pay for that optional extra and get that enabled if I was getting one of these. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, gearing is quite short, not a problem. Just got to get up through the box. So yeah, quick shifter works nice. If you do use the clutch, then that's nice and light as well. And no problem with the gearbox. In the couple of rides I've had on the bike, I've had no false neutrals, no trouble finding neutral, nothing like that. So no issues there. The engine's got a fun note to it as well. It's not horribly loud, it won't upset your neighbours, but it's just got enough of a bark there to remind you that you're on a thumper. It's great. I don't suppose you'll hear it through the microphone I've got on this camera, but take it from me, it sounds alright. There's so much to be said for a light bike, I tell you. It's like being on a bicycle. This is absolutely brilliant. Right, while I'm stuck behind this, what is it, a Touran from Volkswagen? Lovely looking vehicle. Let me take you through the spec. Alright, let's whiz through the numbers on this bike then. Let's start off, as I always do, with the engine. This one is what they call the LC4C engine. The little C, I think, just stands for compact. Single cylinder, 399 cc's, 45 brake horsepower and 39 newton meters of torque. Ample for backlane blasting. Brakes on the front, you've got this rather sparse looking 320mm disc with a 4-pot caliper. On the rear, a 240mm disc with a 2-pot caliper. Suspension on the front is fully adjustable, as you can see, and no surprises, comes from WP, of course, which are owned by KTM. The front there is a 43mm WP open cartridge forks. It's adjustable for compression and rebound. And this new side-mounted shock on the back is also adjustable for compression and rebound, and looks like a pretty beefy unit to me. Seat height on the 390 Duke is 820mm, which sounds quite tall. You can get a low seat taking it to 800mm, but I would say the sort of standover bit is very narrow, so even if you're a bit of a shorty like me, I'm 5'8", but I can easily flat foot this. Wet weight of the bike is a very pleasing 165 kilograms, absolutely light as you like. Feels like almost bicycle light when you're riding it. Feels like riding my Mrs. 125 in terms of weight. I think it's probably one of the lightest bikes I've ever tested. Tank capacity on the bike is 15 litres. Expect frugal riding out of the single cylinder engine. I think KTM quote around 80 miles per gallon. Electronics wise, this bike is absolutely loaded now. For a bike of this sort of category, it's got absolutely loads of stuff on here. This 5-inch TFT, it's got Bluetooth connectivity for phone, music, nav, all that sort of thing. It's got LED lighting all round. It's got street and rain modes as standard. Track mode, as I mentioned, you can actually get as well. You have to unlock that for extra money, but bit of a pain, but more of that later. It's got launch control, a pit lane limiter, would you believe. It's got Supermoto ABS as well, which basically means you can have ABS disabled, I think, on the front, does that make sense, but enabled on the back. As I mentioned, it's got an optional quick shifter, and also the traction control and ABS are lean angle sensitive, so it's obviously got an IMU in there somewhere. Just an amazing electronic spec for a bike in this category. Price wise, on the road in its most basic spec, it comes in at $5,699. Other rivals, things like the MT-03 is $6,005, so more expensive. I think this is therefore much better value than that. The Kawasaki Z900 is $5,799, so a little bit more expensive as well. So compared to some of the rivals, it's cheaper. If you look at things like the new Triumph Speed 400, though, that comes in at under $5,000, and the Royal Enfield Hunter 450, that comes in at under $4,000. So plenty of choice and plenty of prices to choose from here, but this one sits sort of kind of squarely in the middle of that lot. Colour wise, the bike comes in KTM orange, or you can have it in this grey and blue with orange bit scheme, which I think looks absolutely splendid. Okay, welcome back aboard the new KTM Duke 390. Still haven't managed to lose this Touran yet, unfortunately. It's rather limiting my fun. Might get a chance to overtake him just here. Nothing behind me. What a hoot this bike is. It's great on the corners. There's so much grip on here. Okay, we're all clear, nothing behind it, let's go. Yeah, plenty of shove to make swift overtakes. Just because it's a 399cc unit, don't think you won't have enough to play with. I mean, these sort of bikes, I think, are probably perfect to somebody that maybe has just passed their test. Maybe you haven't got a lot of experience on bigger bikes and you want to build your experience, and this is a great option for that as your first bigger bike to learn your craft on. Or if you want some frugal transport to get you to work and to have fun on the weekends, again, great motorcycle for that. Or indeed, if you just want something that's lightweight and easy to live with, easy to get in and out the garage, easy to move off the centre stand, all that sort of thing, then perfect bike for that. Or indeed, as a second motorcycle, as a fun backlane blaster, as I say, which is how it would fit into my collection. Oh, I really like the 390 Duke before, and I really like it again. The beauty of this sort of bike is you can absolutely hammer it and you're not going stupidly license losing speeds. It's that old thing, isn't it, about it's always more fun to ride a low power bike fast and a high power bike slow. And you can access all the performance of this engine without fear of losing your licence. Seems to be really busy on the roads today, which is a little bit disappointing. So what haven't I talked about? We've done handling, I think. Yeah, the handling is good. The suspension's nice on here. The WP suspension is beautiful, and of course it is adjustable, so you can get it tweaked to exactly what you want. I think the adjusters on here have got 5 levels of tweaking. They used to have a lot more, and KTM thought to themselves, well, actually most people don't need sort of 12 notches of adjustment or whatever it was, so they brought it down to 5, which I think makes a lot of sense. I think it's the same on the rear as back as well. Sorry, I think if I had the bike, oh hello, road closed, how annoying. I think if I had the bike I would probably just soften it off slightly, because that hard seat together with the suspension in the factory settings, it's a little bit harder than I'd like, but you can make those adjustments. It stops way better than I thought it would with that single disc. The brakes are lovely actually, they've got a good feel to them, and they quickly bring you to a halt, so loads of confidence in the stopping and going. The engine seems nice. To me it looks like a nice bike. I'm often critical of KTMs and the way they look, whereas this and its way bigger brother, the Super Duke, are my 2 favourite KTMs, and I think this is a cracking looking little machine. If there are any downsides, well, I suppose there are a couple. The main one for me is comfort. The seat is quite hard. I think that would get old quite soon, and then also I don't like the fact that you have to pay extra for the quick shifter and the extra racing mode. I think I'd probably do that and buy those. Other than that, there's really nothing that I don't like about it. It's overall, I mean, at this price point, what a great thing. It feels well made, it feels like a quality bike, handles beautifully. Yeah, it's been too long since I rode one of these. I don't know why I left it so long. It's becoming a competitive area of the market now, isn't it? This sort of 400cc price point. I mean, not only have you got bikes like the MT-03 in here. Let's sneak up the side here. That's what you can do with these little light bikes, isn't it? Brilliant. But you've got the likes of the new Triumph 400s as well, that at the time of filming I'm yet to ride. But I think by the time you see this video I may have ridden them, so I can't compare them. But my point is, you sport for choice if you want a small, lightweight, fun bike these days. And it's been a long time coming, because I think these absolutely hit the sweet spot. So I've picked a really bad time of day to come out, it seems, because there's a lot of traffic about, spoiling my fun. But yeah, on this first ride review, big thumbs up from me. Still love the KTM Duke 390. Really urge you to have a go on one of these if you're in the market for this sort of bike. It's a great thing with a lot of electronics, high spec, for not a lot of money. Give it a go. Alright, that's it for this time. Look forward to speaking to you again soon. Until then, this has been the Mr. and Fly. Cheerio.
Hey kids, we're the Missing the Flyers.
Oh yes. This is such a fun bike around the lanes like this. You can absolutely pan it. And it just puts a tremendous grin on your face. That's got to be the most important thing about any bike, isn't it? What a fun thing. Loving it. Ah, what a cracker.